There are a few survival horror games in 2019 or 2018 that at least stepped up their game, other than Resident Evil 2, if you want to be obvious, or maybe just a few more. I don't think there was anything big as Resident Evil 2 at the moment. But here's a funny story. And I was at the GameStop. I went to go get a game. I think I was going to go get Resident Evil 2 because I wanted that immediately. I love the original. I love the Resident Evil series, Silent Hill series, and newly Fatal Frame series. And I wanted Resident Evil 2 really bad. It was about 50 something dollars, and I wanted to at least buy two games or maybe just Resident Evil 2. But I didn't. I for some reason thought, what the hell? I for some reason thought that if I waited, the price would lower and I would be more frugal that way. Of course, I could have had the game, for what it's worth, and it's absolutely worth the price. But I didn't get it, and that's blasphemy for the survival horror fans. But I did match my eyes to one specific game, which started this whole thing to begin with, and it was called Deathmark. Deathmark is a game made by Experience Inc. and Access Games. It is essentially a survival horror point and click slash dungeon crawler slash mystery slash visual novel. And when people think of visual novels, they think, well, yeah, it's from Japan. It's going to be something on the lines of like Persona 5, but, a lot more like pictures and dialogue. And there is that. But when I started playing the game, I didn't know what I was going to get into. This was a game that recently came out, and it's an absolute masterpiece. They're making a manga, and they're making I think another thing about it, and they just made the sequel to it a year later. But yeah, called NG, and I can't wait for that to be localized here in America if that ever happens. But Deathmark is absolutely fantastic. The story, the characters, just everything just felt so right. And the biggest thing is, for a survival horror game of that nature, it is terrifying. It's not yeah, it's terrifying. Some moments are absolutely unsettling. Like okay, the story is you're this dude. You have this you have this like strange mark. You go to this psychic lady called Saya Kujo, who owns this big mansion, and everyone goes to see her for help, like on the underground. And she's rich beyond belief. And you go inside and you find her dead. You find her like with like flowers and like plants like coming out of her dead body, and then she just disappears and leaving just a pool of blood on the ground. And you're like, I got to get out of here. But uh, all of a sudden, someone starts talking to you in the main hallway, in the main when you first go through the door, and it's this weird doll thing, and it's talking to you. And immediately I would probably run out, but the doll explains that you don't have like enough time on this earth. That mark on your arm, that is going to be your demise, and you're going to die tonight if you don't get that shit fixed. Other people come to the door, and they have the same problem, and you have to go investigate what kind of spirit would do this to you. Because there's a lot of this is based on like urban legends, like you'll have inspiration from like Slipmouth Woman, and like just urban legends in general, like ghosts. But these ghosts are absolutely elusive. Like there's one that is like, he drills into you. He uses a drill to go into you and plants bees and makes you a human beehive for his collection in the woods. That happens. And it's so awesome. And one of the most unsettling parts of the game, if you reach it, is there's this underground area. I'm not going to spoil anything. But when you're in this underground area, it's so quiet. It's so dead. No one's there except for the spirit that you're supposed to be looking for. And there's this propaganda army music playing in the background somewhere. But it's alluded that maybe it's not from a radio, it's from the spirits themselves from the war. And when you hear it and you're in this thing, the investigating area with the constant, what was it called? Sururi? Sururi? I think it's what it's called, Sayuri. And it's just so unsettling. The monsters are so unsettling. It has graphic gore in this game too, and a lot of cuss words, exchanging from person to person. But since you help a ghost, every single time you not help a ghost, every time you defeat a ghost or defeat a spirit, the people who come to come to the mansion, which is basically yours now because you're going to be standing there for a while, and their mark goes away, yours don't, and you're like, what the fuck? And you go to Mary and you're like, what the fuck? And she's like, well, I guess that wasn't the spirit. And you're like, I'm going to die. And she's like, no, it eased a bit because you did defeat a spirit, which means you get to live longer. The more it hurts, the more your time is up. And you go through this journey of weeks of helping these people out, only to find out where the hell and why the hell you got the mark. And it's really, really interesting. It's a fantastic game. I couldn't recommend it more. Deathmark is an absolute experience itself, and it should just be played by everybody and not forgotten. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen. And play Deathmark. You gotta play that shit. That shit's really good for an independent game. And I can't wait for the new one. I can't wait for it all. Man.